Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of Talking to Myself. I'm Arielle Haughee, your host and author. Why is it special? Isn't it always special? Yes, but it's special for a few more reasons. First, we are celebrating my favorite holiday. Well, one of my favorite holidays. No, it's not Christmas. That's in December, though you might be confused with all the store decorations and holiday music. In the United States of America, we celebrate Thanksgiving on the fourth Thursday in November, and that is one of my favorite holidays. What is it about Thanksgiving that I like so much? Well, I do feel connected to the history of those early pilgrims and the Native Americans. I like to think about the very first Thanksgiving. Gratitude is also at the core of this holiday, right? That's why we call it Thanksgiving. And it is something I am trying to live every day. Thanksgiving is a cozy holiday that gets us thinking about the good in our lives. I even love the orange and brown decorations with the turkeys all thrown in. Besides Thanksgiving, this episode is exceptional because we're going to talk to Arielle Haughee, the publisher of Orange Blossom Publishing and the publisher of my latest book, Early Summer. Arielle, however, is not just a publisher. She has written several award-winning books. Her picture book, Pling's Party, won the 2021 Children's Book of the Year. Arielle is an editor, writing coach, and speaker. Arielle has agreed to speak with me this month. If you're an aspiring author or publisher, you might want to stick around. Arielle, thank you for taking time to chat with me on Talking to Myself. I read somewhere that you started Orange Blossom to put more love and humor into the world. Why is that important to you?
Because I was impacted so much by seeing how much negativity people had towards each other. During, political elections, during there would be some sort of disaster and people would respond negatively to it. Just different things that you see, just the ugliness in the world. And I thought, what can I do as a person to try and make the world a better place? And, in my small way, I'm putting more, love and kindness out into the world by putting out stories that where people fall in love with the characters, where my children's stories focus on, kindness and love and also humor. Of course, I use a lot of humor. And for me, it's about trying to make a difference with the content that I put out. Does that mean that all of my books are yippee skippy, everything's happy all the time? No, because I want the characters to go through, what we said, unstoppable journeys, these journeys that make them examine who they really are, and come out on the other side. Just like with Early Summer, we have a character who needs to examine her own practices and what she does, and she's on her own journey. And so for me, sharing her story is especially in relation to the anxiety aspect. It makes it more relatable for other people who are suffering with the same thing, and that brings some comfort to people. So that's, part of it is having, fun doing the job, but also my goal of putting more love and humor into the world.
So you want to put more love and humor into the world, but how do you do that every day while you're running your publishing company?
That's a great question. I do my best to treat all my authors with respect and give them the love and patience and kindness that I have. And I think in how I treat the authors, that is how I also kind of share love into the world, because I love my authors. I used to be a teacher and I loved my students, and now I'm a publisher and I love my authors. So it continues.
What are some of the risks to being an author?
I think the first risk you take by being an author is just putting yourself out there. It's intimidating and often scary to reveal certain parts of yourself and share certain parts of your own personal story with the world. And so you put yourself, out there for people to judge and criticize, especially in reviews, which can be terrible. But it makes you, be brave, and it makes you appreciate the journey. So I think that's one of the risks. And the other risk is, I think that it's a financial risk when you become an author, because you are kind of making a gamble. Is this book going to do well? Can I make this book sell? Is more the question that the author has to ask, and it is a risk. Especially if you're, an indie author and you've invested your own money, and you may not make that money back. So that's financially, it's also a risk to be an author. So you have to kind of be a risk taker, I think, to get into this industry.
So how do you encourage people who want to be authors?
The first thing I would say is that it's scary for everyone, no matter what level you are. There's that same kind of nervousness about, oh, is this book any good? Am I going to do well? Will people like it? Will they like me? That I think, whether you've published one book or 50 books, you still kind of have some of that nervousness about it, because, maybe they won't like this particular book. So you're not alone in feeling a bit nervous about things and wondering if people are going to like your work. And also, everyone kind of, starts as a beginner with writing. We all start where we have to learn. There isn't, unless you're some sort of writing virtuoso, which, is very rare, obviously. Everybody has to learn the craft, and everybody has to work to get better. So don't feel like you're not any good starting out. Don't tell yourself you're not good. Just tell yourself you're a beginner, and you just have to learn. And that's the truth, is you just need to practice, and work on your craft. And don't beat yourself or your work up too much.
What is it like to run your own publishing company?
It was very exciting when I first registered as an LLC and got my logo made and figured out the name. All of that's really fun. I went with Orange Blossom because I wanted something that sounded Floridian. And I also really love flowers, so that seemed to be a good fit for me. And I think the color orange, because it's more unique, kind of makes me stand out a little bit. So it was fun at first, and I knew my long-term goal was that I wanted to become a small press and publish other authors. But I started out slow and not publishing many other people. I would do anthologies and publish other people's short stories, but I didn't want to take on full books yet, because I didn't want to make mistakes on other people's books. I wanted to make sure to have my marketing platform set up and everything.
Was there a moment or a writer that you knew this was it? I need to get this company off the ground.
So I spent a few years just kind of learning, and I very slowly kind of got into it. I started with one author, Kristen Durfee. She was a personal friend who I had edited a book for her that I really enjoyed. It was called Mass. And she said that she had shopped it around to different agents, and she got some interest, but the problem was they said they didn't think they could sell it. And I thought, gosh, that's such a shame. because it's such an interesting story. It's about a girl who is a teenager who starts getting visions, religious visions, and she ends up having a tumor. And she doesn't want to take out the tumor because she thinks it's going to break that special connection that she believes she has with God. So she actually runs away to a cult and joins this cult. And it's just super interesting. And it winds up being a really introspective story, and it talks about faith and belief and what it really, what it means to you and that type of thing. And it's just really interesting. And I thought, gosh, it's a shame this book isn't out in the world. And so I decided to take it on, and that was my first challenge because I knew it was going to be hard to market, because it's not like quite a Christian book, because it doesn't have directly inspirational themes in it, but it's also not a straight YA book because it has some religious themes in it. So it kind of was in the middle, and that was my first challenge. Was the first book I took on was one that would be hard to market. So that was my first practice with that. So it was a lot of work, and we did a lot of different things marketing that book and working on it. And I learned a lot, and I really appreciated Kristen for being my guinea pig and letting me kind of learn with her and how to work with authors and whatnot. So that book ended up winning a gold award in young adult fiction from the Florida Writers Association. So I was really proud of that.
After that experience, when did you open up to other authors?
I had not this past summer, but the previous summer, so the summer of 2021, I actually had a hip replacement. I have a bum hip, not anymore though. And while I was recovering and in bed, I thought, you know what, now would be a great time to go through submissions. And since I'm sitting around, can only play on my iPad for so long, and so I decided, you know what, it's been several years. I knew I was going to do it. Let me go ahead and open up for outside submissions. And so that's when I did it.
Ballet dancer Misty Copeland has said, anything is possible when you have the right people to support you. So Arielle, who are the people who support your writing and publishing endeavors?
I get financial support from my husband because publishing costs money, and luckily we're in a position where we had money that we were able to invest. Because with books, you invest everything up front to create a product that you're going to sell, and I supplemented by doing services and editing and whatnot. But my husband definitely supports me financially. He also supports me. He listens to when something happens and I get upset, if there's a problem with a print run or whatever. He's always there to listen. My biggest cheerleader was probably my grandmother. She passed a few years back, but when I first got into writing, she was just over the moon excited. When I got published the first time, she was just like so congratulatory. How I Met My Other actually has her love story in it, and I dedicated the book to her. And I was so fortunate that she was able to attend the book signing before she passed. It was actually the last kind of big thing that she was able to do. She was there in her wheelchair, and God bless my mother for getting her there, because we were downtown, and I'm sure that wasn't easy. But that really, just having her there was really huge for me, and I'm so glad that she was able to be there and hear her story read and celebrate the book and celebrate her own love story before she passed away. From friends, I have some great friends. I've had friends buy so many books from me. Oh my goodness, especially friends with kids who will buy my children's books. My friends have been outstanding. So hats off to them for being amazing and wonderful support for me, because I really do appreciate every single book that was ever purchased by anybody. I just really appreciate it. I don't consider it money coming in. I consider it support for my career type of a thing.
What are some of your future plans?
One of my goals is to get more into nonfiction. I'm doing that by one of my nonfiction items is a cookbook that I'm doing that I'm really excited about. I have a mental health professional, and I have a like a chef working together to make a cookbook that will to focus on foods that will help with depression, like food for mood type of a thing. So we're really excited about that. I also have a children's nonfiction about Ernest Shackleton, who was an Arctic explorer in Antarctica, and his ship, the Endurance, sank, and his whole crew, after months and months of being, stuck, completely abandoned in the Arctic, they survived. It's this incredible story, and it's going to be a children's book, so that's another nonfiction that I'm working on. And then there's also my journal series. We have Purple, Sex, and Love Beyond Your Dreams, a woman's guided journal for, oh shoot, they're going to kill me. It's a woman's guided journal for like sexual wellness or empowerment, or I forget what it is. But it's a journal for women about empowering yourself with your sex life. And it's written by two very, very well-educated, recognized sex educators, Dr. J and Angel Russell, who goes by Professor Sex. Both of them are fantastic. I'm so excited to see this journal for women. I'm about empowerment, and especially with women, and I think it's going to be a great resource. So those are some of the books that I'm looking forward to see how those do with sales, and just seeing more of how nonfiction works out, because I'm interested in doing nonfiction.
Thanksgiving is just a few days away, and I like to think about being grateful every day of the year, not just one day out of the year. Arielle, what are you grateful for?
First and foremost, I'm grateful for my husband every day. He is so funny, and he makes me laugh, and I need it. I need to laugh every day, especially when I get stressed. He knows how to make me smile, so I am eternally grateful for my husband. He's so sweet and loving, and just super supportive, and just love him to death. I'm also grateful for my children. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and love them to pieces. They're wonderful kids. I'm grateful for my family and my friends. And even though my house was built in the 60s, and definitely there are some things that need to be fixed and remodeled and whatnot in it, I am super grateful for where I live, because our neighborhood, particularly our street, we have the best neighbors. Everybody knows each other. We talk to each other. The kids all play together. There's tons of kids on our streets. All the parents get along, which is like almost unheard of. We all like each other. It's just the most wonderful thing. We have a Halloween block party every year, and the neighbors come down and we all celebrate. What was wonderful this year is we had some of our more senior neighbors dress up in costume, and it was fantastic, and we just loved it. I'm really grateful for my neighborhood as well.
Christmas comes right after Thanksgiving, right? And there's so much excitement, lots of activities, lots of shopping and buying. Sometimes, however, Christmas can be difficult. So, Arielle, have you ever experienced challenges during the holidays, and what did you do?
So I went through kind of a more challenging period in my life last Christmas. I was having a really hard time emotionally with some things, and I decided to make a book just for myself, and it's called 4 Little Things, and it's just 4 questions. It has these 4 questions. I am grateful for is number 1. Number 2, something that made me smile. Number 3, I am proud of. And number 4, something I look forward to. So the whole focus is just those 4 questions that I quickly answer each day to help me focus on positivity and things I'm grateful for. So it's almost like a gratitude journal, but like a fast one, because at the end of the night, I'm kind of tired, but I still want to have that positivity. So I actually made that for myself when I was having a hard time. I don't sell it or anything. It has an ISBN and it's a real book, but I don't sell it. It's just for me, because I think it's good to help you when you're in harder times. To try and focus on the positive as best you can, just to help you get through those cloudy, dark days. So that's what I do. I do a little bit of light journaling to help me do that, because I do absolutely think it's good for you.
That wraps up another show. What an amazing interview with Arielle Haughee of Orange Blossom Publishing. There was so much more we didn't get to, but check out Orange Blossom Publishing at orangebblossombooks.com. Find them also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Are you planning anything for Thanksgiving? When I was a kid, Mom did all the work. I showed up and ate. This year, my older sister is hosting. We're all going to bring food to pass. After we eat, we usually play lots of games. What do you do on Thanksgiving Day? And what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Mine is stuffing. You know what stuffing is, right? Pork sausage, onions, garlic, seasonings, bread and turkey stock, all mixed together and baked. I'm bringing that this year. I think I'm going to add some bacon and maybe some nuts. My daughters hate stuffing. One of my daughters calls it soggy bread. Oh well, that's more for me. I have a little homework assignment for all of us. No, I'm not going to have you write an essay about what you did for Thanksgiving vacation. That would be too much reading for me. Instead, let's try to find something to be thankful for every day. You think you can do it? Hey, make sure you check out my website and go to my blog. This month's post is about kindness, and I think you might be a little surprised when you read it. Don't forget to get a copy of Early Summer. If you've already bought a copy, thank you so much. If you want to get your own autographed copy, I'm having an author book signing event on Sunday, December 11th. It is from 1 to 4 p.m. and it's at the Bottle Shop in Lake Geneva. Next month is Advent and Christmas. I don't have my show planned yet. Email me if you have any ideas. Maybe I'll try contacting the North Pole. It'd be pretty awesome to have Santa on my show. Elf would be fun too. Thank you for listening. You can be thankful for one thing. This show is over. Cheers.